Vito Stellino, VitoStellino.com. He's a legendary football writer. They could not have pigskin without him. That's sort of my opinion here. Anyway, we were talking off the air a little bit about the state of the league. And before we get back to the AFC South race that I wanted to ask Vito about, because he lives in Jacksonville, knows the Jaguars as well as anyone, former beat writer, still covers them on his own website. And I love the Jaguars draft. You know that I've said that I think they can be players this year in the AFC South, but how does that affect the Titans? That's one question we have to wait. He is a little skeptical, but he does, see some of the positives that I have on the Jaguars draft. I love Josh Allen. I think the Jaguars getting Josh Allen at 7 has the potential to be like when the Steelers got Rod Woodson at 10. Okay, that's what I think. Now, we'll talk.
I mean, you could well be right. I'm just saying, we've been often burned a lot in the past saying, hey, this guy's going to be great. It's just too early for us to say, that he's going to be great. And maybe he will be. He checks all the boxes. He's got size, speed, motivation. I mean, he looks, and then you pair him with Dockway. I mean, that's really two good edge rushers. So, yeah, no, it's very positive. But, until they do it on the field, you have to wait and see.
Well, exactly, and I mean, I say the same thing about recruiting rankings in college football or what have you. Texans, he likes their defense, still considers them to be the favorite in the AFC South. And we talked a little bit about the Colts, and his big thing with the Colts was, what about this coach? He's known to do some unorthodox strategies, and that can oftentimes hurt you as much as help you. So now we go on this here, and really, I think those who cover the NFL, people like you, Vito Stellino, but it seems like the Titans are almost at a make or break. Is Mariota ever going to be the real deal? That sort of thing. Except here, the Titans, their draft. What do you think about the Titans moving forward in 2019?
Yeah, I'd say one thing Titans have going for them is they swept the Jaguars 2 years in a row, even 2 years ago when the Jaguars were in the playoffs. So, but Mariota gets hurt too often. Now Derrick Henry gives them a real money threat. It looks like they're going to, emphasize the run. But I think the Titans, they could finish last in the division. It's the other three teams, could look better than them, right now. So it's, I just think it's going to be a really good race.
We're talking Vito Stellino. Now, one of the things off the air we were talking about, and I said, Vito Stellino is a guy who covered Pete Rozelle, but he is skeptical enough that even a charmer, one of those guys who might be a charming owner, charming commissioner, he's skeptical enough that he can kind of, ask the tough question, ask the question that needs to be asked. And, you mentioned Roger Goodell about the marketing and making money, which is why the owners love him, than he is maybe improving the brand of ball on the field. And I found that to be a very interesting, and I got to say, I agree with the comment there. But wouldn't branding also work hand in hand with improving the game on the field, Vito Stellino?
About the game on the field, and the branding just takes care of itself. Roselle used to tell his staffers, remember, we kick off every Sunday at 1 p.m., the message being the World Football League. That's about marketing and everything else. If the football goes well, the marketing just flows naturally from that. And, Goodell set this goal of, we're going to make $25 billion by, X number of years and that type of thing. And you can get caught up too much in the money. And I mean, I remember 20 years ago an owner saying to me, hey, we were all better off when the owners are making less and the players are making less, because the money has become all consuming. And I mean, I don't regret them, making the money, but most of these guys are billionaires anyway, most of the owners. And, but more revenue, don't have enough revenue. When actually the revenue of a pro football team compared to some of their other businesses, it's only a fraction of what they make. They didn't become billionaires when you're pro football. don't seem to value that position enough, and I just think they don't think of football first. But hey, that's the way it is now. It's not going to change. We just have to live with it.
Bill Veeck once said that the only time you make money as a baseball owner, and I think it would probably be the same way in all the major pro sports, was when you sold the franchise. So there you go. I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I do think maybe because these guys are billionaires and such, maybe it is that, hey, we're not making enough money that we should off of this team, even though it's what we're known for. I mean, that is a businessman's mindset, very much so. Vito Stellino, VitoStellino.com. You're not happy with the way that directors of officiating to television, and you think that's hurting the game. Could you elaborate and tell us your thoughts there?
Well, if they're losing them, obviously you're not paying them as much as TV pays them. Well, if officiating is that important to the league, should they be making more money? I mean, Goodell makes $40 million. Officiating makes less $500,000. We're not really sure of the exact numbers, but obviously they could make more going to TV. And every time you lose that, it has the officials. That's the transition. And to me, Riveron has not distinguished himself in that position. He's been too quick to overturn things. I think that, look at the replay for too long. You make a decision, super slow motion. The idea of replay originally was you could tell in 15 seconds. If it was worth overturning, you take a look at it and say, oh, that's a bad call. Once you start going to super slow motion, should that call be overturned? Since you can't expect an official to make a call in super slow motion. So, and it delays the game and all that kind of thing. So I just think that's one example where they haven't put enough emphasis on the football part of it, and what they should have to retain them.
Vito Stellino, VitoStellino.com, I would agree. I've often thought, there's always been the talk about full-time officials and, well, what would they do when they're not officiating the game and all this? Well, said, look, you could have them come to a city early and then, hey, you can call the local college and high school game, and keep your skills sharp as well as, just helping out local football with working with the officials there with rules and coaches and all. There's a lot of stuff you could do and such in that regard. So, by the way, what was your thought on pass interference? Be able to overturn pass interference. Do you think this is good or bad that pass interference?
Bad, because what happened in that Saints game was such a one-off.
Yeah.
Most pass interference calls are judgment calls to begin with. They're close calls. You get very seldom a play where the defender admitted he just ran into the guy because he knew he was beaten and he was trying to stop the game when he touchdown pass. It was just flagrant about it. So now you're going to get another level of controversy where they might overturn it. Should you really overturn that? The pass interference is so subjective anyway, and now you're going to add another layer to it for a play that how often is that play going to happen? And now you delay the game more, you create more of a controversy. The game should be less about officiating and more about the football. And what the NFL should be selling is, hey, we all make mistakes. The players make mistakes. The officials make mistakes. An officiating mistake is like playing in bad weather. If you're good enough to overcome it, then you're going to win. If you can't overcome it, then you're going to lose. But you just can't blame the bad weather one way or the other. You have
Hey, what if I've said this a million times? Sean Payton, why didn't you run the ball? You had Ingram, you had Kamara. I mean, come on, that's the thing to do there. And to me, and I've told you this, that's where the Saints lost the game. But Saints fans don't want to blame their own, obviously. But the thing is, it's what they could have controlled. And that's the thing. You criticize things that you can control. I kind of look at referees as sort of like the media. At least they're supposed to be objective, right? That sort of thing. Anyway, and so then we always take the brunt of it because of that, right, Vito? That's sort of the way it goes, I think. So anyway, all right, VitoStellino.com. Vito Stellino has been joining me here talking football. We'll wrap up what he said. Also, I got to tell you who the Vols got out of Finland, Tri-City Sports Now.